Hello, and welcome to the Comic Book Communicast, the official podcast of the Google Plus comic book community. This is issue number 42 for the week of July 16th, 2014. I'm Justin Beeson, and I'm joined by co-host Paul Christopher.
Good evening, everybody.
And Sarah Evans.
Hi.
Aaron Travis, he went missing, so we'll have to locate him for next week. Each week we take a look at our pull list and pick the comic that we're most excited to read, and then review it here, whether it's good or bad. And we'll go over any other significant issues and news from the past week. So let's get right into it. Paul, what was your first comic for the week?
All right, so my first comic for the week is the Aphrodite 9 Cyberforce crossover. I mean, that's what they're billing it as. All right, so it's basically a one shot to bridge the end of the old Aphrodite 9 series and the new one that's starting, I believe, in November. And so really, this is it's weird because they bill it as a one shot, but it's like Cyberforce appears basically in a flashback, and they're there for like maybe 2 pages. There's like 3 lines of dialogue. It's really, this should have been the last issue of Aphrodite 9. I understand where they were kind of trying to go with it, with the gluing everything together, but it really just felt like the last issue of Aphrodite 9 rather than any sort of in-between issue. That said, it was really good, and it was nice to see all the plot lines, brought together, and and they introduced a new threat, which was really cool as well. So I mean, it's a good book, and if you're following the story, that's great. It's just don't go into this expecting a whole lot of Cyberforce. I really thought that they were gonna have these 2 concurrent stories that were kind of separated by 1,000 years, but working toward each other, kind of a thing, and that's not what I got. So, but it's still a good book.
So the threat, so I read this one too,
Yeah.
and actually I didn't know you were going to be covering this one, so I also had notes on this comic.
Yeah.
So after you talking about it, I decided to jump in with this one because I actually thought it was going to be a mini and not like a one shot. But
That's what
the threat is the threat, like if I say what it is that like a big reveal?
No, it's not. No.
Okay, because I feel like they treated it like it was some big thing in their universe. This coin of Solomon. Because apparently it's like an artifact in their universe, along with the Witchblade and some other things.
Yeah.
And so it kind of felt like it was missing out on some.
We can't talk about that one.
Wait, what?
So yeah, no, so yeah, I think we have a little bit of lag. All right, so the threat that I was talking about was that giant reptilian creature that they run into. Because basically up till now the Nines have been considered like gods, like nobody can touch them, and all of a sudden there's this they feel like they've completed their plan. Everything's going the way that they want it to. They've wiped out the other species, and they're good to go. They're going to be unchallenged, and then fate throws them a curveball, and all of a sudden there's this outside threat that has come along, and they can't deal with it. It's something that's stronger than them at this point. So, but yeah, the coin was interesting. I'd completely forgotten about that when they brought it up in the comic, and then the very last panel, that was interesting. That's like, wow.
See, I thought they just kind of they saw the big monster thing and they just took it out. That's what I got from that, because they kind of jumped from them facing to oh man, I haven't had that much fun in years.
Yeah, my understanding was they had to grab the stuff and run. I don't think they actually took it out. But the panels are a little bit confusing. That went a little bit fast, but my understanding was they basically had to bug out. So.
Gotcha. Uh, and so is the art style that Cedric has been that's on this one? That's like what he's been doing in the main Aphrodite style. Paul.
You broke up a little bit there. My Wi-Fi signal's a little screwy. Yep. Can you say that again? Sorry, my Wi-Fi's a
Oh,
little weird tonight.
okay. So the art, like the style that Cedric, whatever his name is, uses in this, that's like kind of the same as he's been doing in the main Aphrodite title.
Yes. Yeah. This is his step down art version. What you really need to do is go and look at the first issues, like the first three issues, and look at the art in there, and you'll see what I'm talking about. How like this is a slightly stepped down version because like that stuff was like almost photorealistic when he started out.
Right, and this one, like, he uses a very like loose line. I mean, it almost looks like he skips the pencils and just goes straight to inks, because like a
Yeah.
lot of the lines are very sketchy, and then I like again, like the coloring, it kind of bleeds a little bit outside of it. You there? Oh, Sarah, can you hear me? Hello. Okay, so it looks like Sarah got muted, and so I can't hear a response, but I'm still here. So, uh, Sarah, can you unmute yourself, or is
Justin,
that? There we go. Yay!
I didn't do that. You guys suck. I'm leaving.
I didn't do that. Well, okay.
Lame. Lame
So
kids.
since Paul's cutting in and out,
Yeah.
um, why don't we go to your comic, Sarah?
Okay. My comic this week, surprising everyone because I was late updating, is Rat Queens #7. Um, it's pretty much been my favorite comic that I'm pulling right now. Like, I'm always excited when I'm getting Rat Queens that week. It's just really hilarious. The art is really good. The storytelling is great. It's written by Curtis J. Weeb and art by Rock Upchurch, which is maybe one of the best pseudonyms that I've heard in a long time. Um, basically, last issue was a major cliffhanger with one of the side characters getting mutilated pretty badly, and this issue is actually pretty plot heavy for something that's been heavily like dry humor and violence and small time encounters and banter based. They're actually starting to get into the big malevolent forces that have been threatening their city this whole time, and actual serious drama happening with one of the Rat Queens, Dee's surprise husband showing up from her past that nobody knew that she had, evidently. And essentially, her family's religion is that they worship a giant Cthulhu. And unfortunately for everyone involved, the same creature has just been released on the unwitting populace. So oh, and also poor Sawyer, who got kidnapped last issue. Evidently, I mean, the art was kind of hard to see. He got pretty roughed up this time. So I'm really hoping that somebody comes and saves their resident dude in distress. Fingers crossed for next issue.
Sweet. Yeah, I'm looking forward to reading this one as well. If I had known you were gonna cover it, then I would have definitely definitely picked it up. Or I mean, I would have read it before.
Sorry, I'll be better about updating everyone.
All right, so for my comic this week, I did Uncanny X-Men number 23. Now, this is a book that, I mean, we've brought up a few times because of all the Dazzler drama and everything else. And it's one of those books that I'm always like on the edge of dropping it, but then every week that I say, okay, if this issue doesn't deliver, then I'm going to drop it. But then inevitably it happens to be a good issue. So I've been looking forward to this one because it's finally like they're going to reveal Xavier's will, because because it's Marvel Universe, they don't read wills after people die because they don't know if they're actually dead or not. So She-Hulk finds his will, and then goes to the Jean Grey school, and this is in the aftermath of the last story arc. Basically, unsurprisingly, the school is in ruins, like it usually is after a big battle. And then kind of goes and talks to him, said, "Oh well, he has a will. We gotta reveal it." But the big drama here is that they need Cyclops there for the reading, because when Xavier wrote his will, he didn't think that Cyclops would be the one who killed him. So that's kind of like the last panel of it. And then there's also like concurrent stories. So there's like a B story, which is Dazzler and a couple of the members of the X-Men trying to search for Mystique, because Dazzler's out for blood and really wants to get revenge on Mystique for what happened, which is justified. And then there's a C story that only is about 2 pages of it, where there's some new metahuman that's kind of like got this crazy power, but I'm not sure he's a mutant, because it seems like he's pretty new to this and he seems older, so curious to see how that plays out. But yeah, good issue. I thought they were going to actually reveal what was in the will and then deal with the fallout, for the rest of the arc, but it looks like they're going to drag out them actually reading it for a while, because I'm sure the next issue will be them going to find Cyclops, and then they'll keep it going for a while. So obviously it's written by Bendis. Art is by Chris Anka. And I think he's done a few issues before. It's really good art. His lines are pretty thin. He's got a lot of like harsh angles and a little bit stylized, but it fits. It looks really cool. And I mean, I'm still on this title for the foreseeable future. So you got me, Bendis. Again.
Damn you, Bendis.
Yeah. I mean, it was one of those issues where I started reading it.
Okay,
I mean, Go ahead.
No, sorry. We've got some kind of major lag, but I didn't mean to interrupt too bad.
Go ahead, Sarah.
No, you.
Okay. All right, I was just saying that, like when I know that I'm going to be covering an issue for the show, I take notes and stuff while I'm reading the comic to, to have things to talk about. But this was one that I just forgot and got to the end of the comic, was like, crap. I didn't write anything down for it. Because it's a definite page turner. Like, he keeps me invested in the story, so yeah, I'll keep pulling it and I'll keep reading this. So what were you going to say, Sarah?
I was just wondering, spoiler alert, but does she actually shave off all of her beautiful hair and dye it black in the course of this issue, or is that just something we really have to look forward to?
We get to look forward to it. So after they go on their little search, they go to Madripoor, because that's the last place Mystique was seen, and Dazzler gets all pissed off because they can't find her. So they get back to wherever their school is, up in some secret base, and then she storms off and goes in the bathroom, and the last panel we see of Dazzler is you just see her looking in the mirror, and then it's a close up of some scissors on the counter, and then that's the last we see of her. So I'm sure she'll just appear with a new look next issue. I don't I think like Bendis likes to do that where he jumps. So yeah, I think that'll be next issue.
Okay, guys, well, next time we have issues, I want to talk not necessarily about Dazzler, but about how pissed off I am by the convention of writing female characters looking in mirrors and self-analyzing. Because you never see male characters do this, and female characters are written doing it extremely frequently. So, next issues, stay tuned.
Yeah, you don't really.
Yeah, we have to do an issue soon.
Yeah.
Like, Sarah's definitely got a few built up, so...
Off the top of my head, the only like thing in media where I can think of like a dude looking in a mirror to like, you know, analyze himself or whatever is Luke Wilson in Royal Tenenbaums.
Yeah.
But that's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah, that's because female characters are written with a fixation on their appearance, and I know this might sound hypocritical coming from someone who despises her new appearance, but male characters are taught to, you know, be more focused on internal character development.
Well, I think it's like there's plenty of times when male characters are looking in a mirror, but they usually end up like punching it. That's what male characters do with a mirror.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, and it happened to Storm did it. I mean, I guess it's been a year or so now, but when she went back to the Mohawk, it's because she was, you know, pissed off at how her life was going, and so she looks in the mirror and then, I think she has Wolverine cut it, but anyways.
Well, that's cute, but okay, so obviously Allison needs to go and talk to Storm about this because we just can't continue this cycle of rage Mohawks.
Rage Hawk.
All right. So, I'm sorry, I'm stumbling over my words. So since we didn't know Sarah if she was coming or not, we had some extra comics prepared. So Paul, what was your second pick?
Was Robin Rises Omega. And I just want to say that you pretty much skip this issue. Let me say.
Hold on, Paul. Sarah, you getting any of that? Because it's cutting out for me.
It's breaking up like every syllable. Sorry, Paul.
Paul, do you have your iPad? I saw you tried to bring it up. Okay. Yeah, I think he's in and out. Paul and I discussed it a little bit before the show, and I think we both came to consensus that this comic was pretty terrible. So this Robin Rises, it's Tomasi, and I don't know. What was it? Basically, it's their big maybe bring Damian back to continuity. They're supposed to keep us guessing, but it's following Batman and Ra's al Ghul because Batman finally gets a hold of him, and because Ra's al Ghul has Damian Talia's bodies, and so the premise is that Ra's al Ghul has this chaos shard that's from Apocalypse or something, and Batman catches a glimpse of it, and he thinks he has a way to bring back Damian via this crystal thing, and there's this big fight between these guys from Apocalypse and Batman teaming up with Ra's al Ghul because they just happen to be in the same area, and the whole issue, like the main issue, is just a big fight, which I most of the time can't stand. If the whole issue is just one big fight, like you need some story in there. But yeah, so basically the thing is that Batman now is determined to go to Apocalypse to get this shard, get Damian's body, and resurrect him. It's just not. There's just nothing interesting about this to me, and I think Paul will concur on it. If you, there he is.
Yeah. So yeah, there we go. That's better.
Okay. So I
yeah,
kind of summarized what happened in the issue.
I heard you. Yeah.
Okay.
I was saying like let's just save you guys all the $4 or $5 that the comic book costs and just say there's a big battle and they take Damien's sarcophagus to Apocalypse. Batman doesn't make the trip, but he's bound and determined to get there. That's it. Don't the rest of it is a recap of the entire the last 10 issues of Batman and Robin. So don't bother. Don't waste your money.
Yeah, just not good. Now, are you still pulling the Batman and Robin the regular title?
Yes.
Are you? Because that's where it continues. You're going to keep pulling it?
Yes, because it's actually if this had happened in the regular title, then I wouldn't have been so upset. Like it would have been like a lesser issue, but I wouldn't have been so upset. The fact that they made this like into its own comic and like it's a big deal, it's like no, it's not a big deal.
Yeah, I think this is just kind of they're trying to bring back all those people that bought the Damien death issue by making this kind of an event, and then saying continues in Batman and Robin.
Yeah, but it should have been a better comic than it should have been. I mean, the cover is awesome, but the inside doesn't live up to the cover by any means.
I hope they leave Damien dead. He needs to not come back.
Yeah, I really like Damien, but it's a little too obvious.
No, I love Damien, but I feel like he's a character that bringing him back from the dead so quickly would not do it justice.
Yep.
Oh, no, okay, so never mind. Sorry, I understand where you're coming from. Is this a situation where it's like he's better off dead than in the hands of editorial right now?
Yeah,
right.
Respect.
Yeah, okay, no, I feel you.
Significant.
The only way Damien can come back is if nobody knows he comes back and Batman sends him off to Spiral 2 with Dick Grayson.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, that would be so cute. That would be so cute. He'd be the tiniest secret agent. Oh.
That's the only acceptable outcome for this, so that we can get Dick and Damien again.
I was all about Batman and Robin before the reboot when it was Dick and Damien, and I just fell in love with their dynamic. If they did that, if they put them together again, I would pull that so fast.
Yep. So, write your letters, people. Yeah. Tell them we want Dick and Damien again.
Seal them with red lantern rings and red dripping wax.
All right, so Sarah, what else did you pull this week?
This week I pulled Miss Marvel, which has had an artistic change, I think, at least for the meantime. The writing still continues excellent. There was a Wolverine team-up, which I surprisingly enjoyed scanning through it just now. But yeah, Jacob Wyatt is new on art, and it's actually really good. She has to go and have a talk with her Sheik, and he's surprisingly not as crappy to her as she anticipated, and might turn into a kind of a, I don't know, mentor, not necessarily as hands-on as Gandalf, but he's someone good for advice in this series. He seems like a really nice guy. He only knows her identity. He doesn't know that she's Miss Marvel. But,
no, I mean, that's what I meant. So he doesn't know that she's...
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, her parents made her go talk to him. So, yeah. Have definitely not been in her shoes before. What? Southern Baptist, what? But besides that, the Wolverine team-up was actually really cute. For someone as sick of everything being over-Wolverined as I am, it was actually really cute. And she referenced that corgi meme, so amazed, much athletic, very claws. It was pretty hilarious. She-Hulk new this week. I haven't read through any of these because it's been a crazy night. But X-Men, just regular old-fashioned X-Men, not Uncanny or anything. And besides that, Nightcrawler, which has been really, really cute, and I want to read that first. It's on top of the pile. And Ghost.
Is that the Kelly Sue DeConnick one?
Yes, it is. Actually, it looks like, I I heard rumors it was a one-shot issue, but I haven't really been keeping up as well with this comic. I'm seeing Chris Sabella has been writing this issue.
Oh, that's right. Cool, 'cause
Kelly Sue DeConnick got it started, but
I think they were always
Go ahead.
co-writing it. But yeah, I remember reading that she had to drop off.
oh, you think? Oh, it's permanent? Okay, that's
so.
disappointing. Her name is like a big attraction for me. So, I mean, I've been liking this series, but we'll see if it continues as entertaining as it has been. I mean, it hasn't been like highest on my list, but you know, it's been a good read, so we'll see.
Cool. Paul, how about you? What else did you pick up this week?
All right, so this week the rest of my read pile was... Oh, crap, that's what I was supposed to... Yeah, I kind of went off script, didn't I? Anyway, I picked up Batman Eternal number 15. This is cool. They're getting back to this spooky Arkham Asylum plot, which is really good, actually. I've been enjoying it despite the presence of Batwing. Oh, Lord. The Squitter, number 1. This is from Ben Templesmith, who I'm a big fan of from back when he was doing 10 Grand and some of his other work. This is really interesting. So in the near future, basically these squid-like aliens have come to Earth. It's basically like the Cthulhu apocalypse. And like they've wiped out large portions of humanity, and the rest of the humanity has been subjugated and basically worships them. And our main character is a squitter, which means like he is like this physically altered soldier from back when they were still trying to fight a war against the aliens. And he's been hired by this mob boss to go and basically kidnap this priestess for the alien beings, and the Squitter is not too happy about that, obviously, because he looks at her as these people like that as like collaborators, but he takes the job, and we'll see where it goes from there. I got Supergirl, issue number 33. Our long national nightmare is finally over. She is no longer a Red Lantern, thank God. So with a backup story with Gen 13. So I'll be interested to see where that goes. Yeah, that's what I said. Red Hood and the Outlaws, number 33. Scott Lobdell is doing the art on this, which is I like his art.
Hey, wait, he's doing the art?
No, sorry. He's doing the writing. Sorry. R.B. Silva. R.B. Silva is doing the art, and the art's really cute. I like it. So those, and let's see. Oh, okay, and then I forgot about this comic. There's this comic called the Telecos Protocol, and I had gotten the preview, the Prelude edition, like way back when it came out in July, and then forgot to read it. And then I saw issue number 3 came out this week, and reminded me, oh yeah, I meant to read that. So I went and I got all of them. So I got issues 1 through 3, and it's amazing. It is absolutely freaking amazing. It's written by Peter Cooper, with art by Adam Byrne, and the story is pretty cool. It's the future Earth, again, sort of post-apocalyptic because of like ecological disasters and whatnot, and so like humans are living in like these massive underground cities and all that. But the comic's really about like our first contact with this other alien race, and it doesn't go very well. I don't want to get into it too much. I'll start talking about it though with like next month for the next issue. But so like it doesn't go too well. We've got these two main characters, man and a woman, that they're on like the security forces and all. And there's the scientist who has been working on this project and whatnot. But like the art in this is just incredible. I say this guy is only second only to my man Stefan when he's doing his top-notch art. So back like the early issues of Aphrodite when he was doing his like photorealistic stuff, that's the level this guy's at. Except for he doesn't do people as well as he does. I mean, his people are still really well done, but they're not to the same level as like the rest of his art. Like his like scenes and stuff like that. Everything that's not a person is just incredible. This is just a gorgeous, gorgeous book. You should be buying this just for the art alone. But the story is good so far, and yeah, this is going to be one of my favorite sci-fi books right here. So, and
cool.
That was it.
All right, so actually it was kind of a light week for me, but the ones that are standing out to me, Adventure Time number 30. This is a one-off. They're calling it a zine issue, so they're doing like a tribute to old like zines from the 90s, so it has a bunch of different artists, so I'm curious to see what they do with that. Also Batman Eternal, mainly because Dustin Nguyen's doing art, and him doing Batman is always great. There's a new miniseries from Frank Barbary, who does Five Ghosts, called Black Market, and I guess I don't know too much about this, but from what I heard, it deals with a guy who basically harvests organs and stuff from superheroes and sells them. So that should be kind of interesting. Yeah. Original Sin number 6. This one, I mean, it's been good. The main thing why this stood out to me is that this is the first issue that I haven't heard a bunch of like people talking on the internet about the oh my god moment like there's been in the last few issues. So I'm kind of curious to see what a non-crazy issue of this is going to be like. Rat Queens, obviously. Silver Surfer number 4, which is the conclusion to the first arc. This comic is wonderful. You don't need continuity. You don't need to know continuity. It's one of those Marvel books that you can pick up and just enjoy. As I've said in the past, it's basically Doctor Who and the Silver Surfer. Yeah, really great. And of course, the Mike Allred art is wonderful. Ninja Turtles number 36. One of those comics that's just consistently awesome, and if you have any interest in Ninja Turtles, you definitely should be reading it. And the Wicked and the Divine number 2. I talked about this last time I was out. Great comic, mythology and pop music. You can't. I don't know. It hits on all my points. It's really great, so I'm really excited to continue that. If you want to join in our weekly comic conversation, we have a hashtag CBC poll box you can go to on Google Plus, where people talk about their weekly comics and stuff. So yeah, definitely join in on that. So that does it for this week's comics. Quite a few big news items this week. So the first one that I want to talk about is we got an announcement that there is a new Batgirl creative team, and with that new team, we get a new costume. And a new direction. So this is going to be, and I'm not really familiar with these creators, but I mean it's generating a lot of buzz. So you have Cameron Stewart, who's co-writing, doing layouts and covers, Brendan Fletcher co-writing, and then a Babs Tarr, who's a kind of a comics newcomer. She's an illustrator, but she has a bunch of like pinups and stuff on her website that are really good. And so we have this new Batgirl. By now, I'm sure everybody's seen the design. What do you guys think about it?
I kind of like it. I don't know. I like the combat boots. I kind of like the way that they've done with the cape and all that. I'm not sure about the Liefeld-esque hip pouch, but we'll see.
But yeah, I will and should note that the suit.
Yeah, it seems like they were
spandex.
trying to.
Sorry, go ahead, sir.
No, sorry, the lag has returned to bite us all in the ass.
So yeah, the costume it's not spandex, it's a leather jacket and like leather pants and real things.
It seems like they're trying to rip off of Steph's costume a little bit because she had like the thigh pouches going on before the reboot, and hers was a lot more tactical. And it was that way because Barbara designed it, which I like that. I mean, obviously that shows some thought. Like, if I could design my own costume, like for maximum effectiveness in the field and personal safety as well, what would I do? So, I mean, it looks like, something that I feel would be realistic to see that she would have. But I don't know. At the same time, it's just like, I mean, they've had a couple of years to sell us on Batgirl, and I'm wondering if this is just going to be like when their chaotic direction with Stormwatch wasn't selling, so they decided to kill everyone off and reboot it to be exactly like the Authority, which is what everyone wanted in the first place. So I'm wondering if they're doing a similar thing here with this series.
The other thing they're doing is it's going to be lighter in tone, because they're trying to attract, a non-grimdark audience, which is really funny. And so if you read the, if you go on Bleeding Cool and you take kind of from, and actually Gail Simone kind of went over it on her Twitter, but it's from what you can piece together. Gail Simone actually left the title because the previous editor kept wanting, the real dark and serious and all that stuff, and Gail Simone was kind of done with it, so she left. And then that editor went to Marvel, and so they got a new Batman group editor, Mark Doyle, I think, and he wanted a light tone for Batgirl. So it kind of sucks because you know that Gail Simone would have been awesome at writing this type of Batgirl as she was writing, Oracle in Birds of Prey and everything. Did you read up on that at all, Sarah?
Yeah, no, I mean, I really hope that the new project that she's going to be working on is something along the lines of her former Birds of Prey series or Secret Six, which was fantastic and everyone wanted it, and so much better than what they've been doing with Suicide Squad this whole time. And now they've got a new Suicide Squad that's basically more mutilations and gratuitous C-list villain character deaths and shooting at things, and it's just, it's so typical. And it's just like, if they're making Secret Six happen is like the flip side of that coin, I would be the happiest little fan on the planet, and I would be pulling yet another DC series. Like, this is how they get my money, It's like first the Harley Quinn series. It's just like, lighten up already. Oh my God.
Now,
that would be amazing to see.
That was actually my next item. Did you see... so Gail Simone tweeted, because she's been talking about her upcoming project, and so finally she sent out this tweet that was like, I can't talk about my secret project because it's a secret, I'm doing it in secret. Basically, she said secret 6 times, and then said, I'll tell you about it later. So at this point, everybody's pretty much convinced that whatever's coming next is going to be either Secret 6 or Secret 6 related.
I mean, that sounds amazing. Secret Six would be great. And, maybe I need to go back and count because I didn't realize that she said it 6 times. That's very cute. No, that would be great to see, especially since we've seen Ragdoll and Batgirl. And maybe, I don't know, maybe they let her do that as kind of like a sneak preview. And I would be very excited to see Scandal Savage and her new wives in this series because,
that's right.
Like I crowed about a few weeks ago, the only confirmed married couple / trio in the DC universe, and it's a polyamorous lesbian marriage. So I'm all about that.
Yeah, DC's
the editorial.
like, that Marvel.
Yeah. I'm a little. I'll have to admit, I'm a little conflicted. I love the Secret Six run. That's like it's great, but I feel like it's gonna have to be something different because at this point, there's such high if she brings back Secret Six, there's gonna be such high expectation that it's just gonna have to be different. Otherwise, it's gonna be a letdown. I feel like, but of course, I'll give it a chance, and I really want it to be awesome, and I'm sure it will be.
Well, I think a revitalization of the Secret Six series would be really, really welcome because I was starting to burn out on it around the time that the series was, kind of trickling away, and we were headed towards like the, wrapping up of the pre-reboot, storylines and everything. And I wasn't crazy about the art. They'd had the one artist on it for a long time. I can't even remember the person's name, but everyone's face looks like really square and squash-nosed, and it was like really, I found it not appealing, and it was all that towards the end, and Catman was getting more and more and more depressing, and it was hard to watch, and I don't know, Bane was having issues as well with like a relationship that he was having, and it felt like it was kind of starting to jump the shark. No king shark puns intended, but I feel like maybe some time away from the comic was probably pretty good, and I think she could do a good job if she had some new characters in a lineup, new interactions, bring back a couple of old favorites, please, including Scandal, please, please, please. So I think it could be really good.
Cool. So the next bit of news, which was another big one, and they had The View announce this, is that Marvel is going to have Thor be a woman now, and this is not some woman just taking Thor's hammer. This is who knows how they're going to do it, but they made it very clear. This isn't Lady Thor. This isn't Thorette. This is a woman, and she's going to have the hammer, and she's going to be Thor. Her name's going to be Thor. Title's going to be Thor. Whatever it is. This is the new status quo because apparently Thor does something to become unworthy of Mjolnir, or however you pronounce it, the hammer.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so now there's a new one, and of course it inspired lots of nerd rage.
They're a little Thor.
I don't know, like, obviously, because they just got an announcement, so who knows what to think of it now, but Jason Aaron is behind this, and he has been killing it on the main title, so if he's behind it, I'm all for it, because he's been telling amazing stories. What did you guys think about this?
Well, I like the fact that like they specifically said that they're part of the impetus behind doing this is to bring in more women and girls as readers.
Paul?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's here.
Okay. I guess I'll go. Oh, no, go ahead, Paul. Go ahead.
Wow, super lag.
Yeah, Sarah's lacking.
Yeah. Anyway, so I'm really happy that Marvel is actively pursuing a more diverse readership, so that's good. And yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see what they do with this new female Thor. They overall got the armor right. The breastplate still could use a little work, but overall, I have to give them kudos. She's not running around in like a metal bikini, so there's that. Obviously, I don't expect this status quo to last very long. I mean, everything ends up back to the beginning eventually, but it should be cool to see where it goes. I have to get caught up with Thor. I'm so far behind. So.
Oh, and the end to this last arc is just, it kind of tied everything back to the beginning. So it was really cool. Great. Like the middle arc was a little, but this one brought it back. And you're like, yeah, this has been awesome. So yeah, as long as Jason Aaron's writing, it's good. Sarah, if your lag is letting you respond, what did you think about it?
No, I didn't hear much about this week. I guess I've kind of had my head in the clouds regarding comic and media news. But let me tell you, I am really, really happy because one of the things that I've been bitching about forever is the way that comics are advertised to women. And I feel like, they should be pushing things like She-Hulk and the all-female X-Men lineup in issues of frickin' Cosmo and, whatever else, 17 magazine, and you're going to be, if you want female readers, comics have been established over decades as such a boys' club that, you've got to find a way to get people in there. So I think it's really clever that they took it to a female space on The View to announce this. And, I'm just loving this guy, Aaron, no, who Aaron? What's his name? Because I never heard of him before, but I'll tell you one
Jason
thing.
Aaron?
I'm going to read his work. What's his name?
Jason Aaron.
Jason Aaron.
Who we met at Third
that
Eye
guy.
Comics for Free Comic Book Day.
Are you kidding? I'm horrible with names. Well, there was a lot going on that day. It was a busy store. I met a lot of people. But, no, I really like the distinction that, he made that, it's not like a Lady Loki thing that they're doing here. It's not Thor in a skirt or whatever, or I don't know, but it'll always revert back to, Thor Prime. I was a little hesitant at first because I was confused as to, wait, so you're saying that Thor proves himself unworthy of the hammer and as a result turns into a woman? What? That, no. Okay, I'm clear on this now. I've got this now. And it sounds like it's going to be really interesting. And, I like the fact that they're making this distinction. They're committed to this. They're aware of the issues, and I feel they're going to write it, really respectfully and really realistically.
Yep, agreed. I'm looking forward to it. There's a lot of discussion of that going on in the community and other comics forums, so yeah, make sure you join in. It's been pretty interesting. So I guess Marvel's doing...
I'm scared of them. I'm not joining.
So Marvel's doing some unconventional announcements, and we don't quite know what this is yet. It's actually probably airing right now, but tonight they're going to make some announcement on Colbert Report, and everybody's pretty much convinced that they're going to announce that Falcon is going to become the new Captain America, because I guess in his series the super serum's wearing off, and so they need to find a replacement. And I think it's pretty genius to have that announcement on Colbert Report, if this is the case, because you're going to have Colbert in his fake persona kind of do the outrage that you see on the forums when they announce these gender swaps or race swaps, and in typical fashion try and illustrate, the silliness of it. So if this is the announcement, I think it's genius. I'm not enough of a Captain America fan to care one way or the other what they do with them. I think it's interesting, but I kind of like what Marvel's doing with these unconventional announcements, because usually it's like it's in the past it's a lot of from like USA Today and a lot of these big periodical. You don't see a lot of mainstream TV announcements for this stuff, so I like what they're doing. Paul, any insight on the Captain America announcement?
Yeah, I was checking the net to see if anybody's announced it yet, or posted it yet, and I haven't seen anything yet. So I don't really care. I don't follow that. I like the fact that Marvel is going about and trying to put some more diversity in its cast. So that's good. And this is the kind of stuff I've talked about before in the past as well, is that they instead of just keep going with the same character, they should make it like a legacy and have the mantle passed on. So this falls right into that. The mantle's passed on. If it is passed on to the Falcon, then great. So now that Marvel is working on evolving their characters to like the next generation, I guess, and in so doing, fixing some of the diversity problems that have been left over from the legacy. So.
Cool. So our next item is we got the big announcement of what the next big Batman arc is, and it's called. We don't know much about it, but we know it's called Batman Endgame, and we know it's a big crazy story, like Snyder always says. But there's just I think the biggest part about it is the stuff kind of in between the lines. With this, once again DC is screwing up their timelines, and once you get to Batman issue 34, which is the start of this, we're jumping ahead of Batman Eternal, which doesn't actually end until March. And basically, in an interview, Snyder said that they were going to do some small little stories, but because of the big DC move, because they're moving from New York to LA in March or April, he didn't want to, because there's going to be a publishing break. They're going to have some different titles. The main titles are going to have like a month or two hiatus, so he didn't want to break it up. So he's jumping ahead and just doing the story now. But yeah, so once again, this is throwing the whole timeline out of whack. And I know you have some thoughts on this, Paul. He's muted.
Yeah, give me 1 second. I got family over here. Hang on.
So the other thing about it is that we found out that they announced those two other titles, Gotham Academy and Arkham Manor, and I was convinced that Arkham Manor was just going to be an out of continuity thing, because the whole premise of it is that Wayne Manor has to house all the criminals of Arkham because something happens with Arkham. But apparently that's an actual thing that's going to happen in continuity. So issue number 34 of Batman is going to be like a catch-all. They're going to basically tell you the end of Batman Eternal, what the status quo of the world is, and then they're jumping headlong into this new. I mean, the Bat universe is going to look a lot different come this October. I know you don't follow this too much, Sarah, but any thoughts on that whole thing?
Which one is the one that's starring teenage girls? Because I'm likely to pick up a couple issues of that.
That's Gotham Academy, and that one actually looks cool because that one's being co-written by or written by Becky Cloonan, who's awesome. Yeah, that's
Great.
One of the other new titles in October.
Yeah, no, I'm a little skeptical of the idea that in the entire city of Gotham there's nowhere else to house these convicted miscreants but Wayne Manor. So that'll be interesting, I'm sure. I mean, it's just one of the things that drove me away from the Bat books, along with no more Steph Batgirl, no more Dick and Damian as Batman and Robin. Bruce is back, fun time's over, etc., etc. And now it's a reboot, different rules. Dan Didio's world, we're just living in it. Atmosphere that the reboot ushered in. One of my bigger problems is that, I mean, it's like you guys keep saying with the timeline, and in many storytelling instances, from what I'm hearing, it's just sloppy. They want to do everything. They have so many different ideas, and they make these huge, massive plans that they can't pull off creatively and can't commit to. So, I mean, I'm not really following the Batverse. I mean, we'll see, but
I have a feeling so they're in a bit of a state of transition right now because they changed editors, and obviously, as can be seen, the new editor is really shaking things up. So I think we got to give it until October is basically when everything is going to be the new status quo. So I feel like we got to give it a few months after that to see how it pans out. So Paul, you're back.
Yeah.
So what do you think of this?
I feel like I need to have like you know how they have the clocks with the different time zones? That's what I feel like I need. It's like which comic book? Where the hell am I in time with this comic book? Like there's the Detective Comics time zone. There's the Batman time zone. There's the Batman Eternal time zone. it's like where the hell are we right now? When are we? I feel like I'm in an episode of Doctor Who or something. We're just jumping all around the timeline, timey wimey wibbly wobbly stuff, and it's just driving me nuts. I'm like, can we just get back to the present? Can we do that? Can we do that, please? So yeah, and then like you said, like they're basically. It's like, why am I reading Batman Eternal if I'm going to find out how it ends next month? It's like, no, next week. Oh, great. So thanks a lot. It was like super spoilers. Yeah. Okay. Well, then I guess I don't have to pick up this one anymore. Thanks. It's
all about the journey, how you get there. But yeah, it sounds like they're gonna reveal basically the broad strokes of the outcomes of Batman Eternal, and they kind of have to now too, because now you got to figure Catwoman's also going to be ahead in the timeline, because when they relaunch that in October, that's going to be Mob Boss Catwoman.
Yep.
And we know that doesn't happen until later in Batman Eternal, which I'm actually really excited for that. But
I don't like this idea of Wayne Manor being Arkham Asylum. That is just dumb.
That actually sounds really interesting.
It's so stupid, so dumb. And then, it's like somebody else pointed it out, so it's like, how's he getting into the Batcave? And how does he make sure that nobody else gets into the Batcave? There's no way
that'll be
he's
part
going
of
to
it.
let these people... I mean, the whole point is that, he is, like, fighting these people basically in a way to avenge his parents. And so now he's going to house them all in his parents' house. It's just... It doesn't fit with the character. It doesn't work with the character. I don't like the idea, but... Yeah, and I will not be collecting the comic, but even then, I'll still be stuck with it in the pages of the regular books. So
you're going to get a... because that's number 34 is going to be a catch-up, and then like a kind of teaser for Arkham Manor, because it's going to be written by Jerry Dugan, who's going to be the writer on Arkham Manor. So we'll see how it goes there. Who knows? We could like it like, we liked the Batman Eternal teaser in the main Bat title.
Yeah, maybe. But
never know.
I doubt it. And I'd just like to point out that there's something going on with my camera, because my face is not this wide. I look like I'm swollen or something. I want to be clear that
it's the sympathetic baby weight.
Yeah, the camera has stretched everything out for some reason tonight. So I'm not this fat. Sorry.
Put the camera effects the soft filter.
Yeah. Is there a thin filter? Is there one of those?
There might be.
Quit doing organized PT. This is what happens.
Yep.
So the last bit of quick news, and apparently everybody else is more excited about this than I am, because I had to delete a bunch of duplicate posts today. But we got an Age of Ultron reveal in Entertainment Weekly cover, and we get Iron Man, Captain America, and our first look at Ultron, who looks exactly like the comics. So I'm not quite sure what all the excitement about this is, but apparently it's a big thing.
Call me when there's a trailer.
Yeah. The other bit is you got the basically Ultron's origin, and they tell you what it is. I'm not going to say it here because it's not that big of a deal, and I don't want to spoil it for anybody that really wants to save it.
Where? In the article?
Yeah, in one of the articles they say how he comes to be, because they've said before it's not going to be Hank Pym, because Hank Pym's not in the movie. So it's going to be different. So yeah, that about does it. We're going to, so I'm going to spring this on you, Sarah. So we're going to be trying to do a new segment here right at the end, real quick. We're more than our comic books, so I just kind of wanted to see what else everybody's taking in, whether it be like a TV show, a book, back issues of comics, a movie, whatever you've been doing the last week. So for me personally, I finally caught up on all my weekly comic books, so I've been reading a real book for once, and this is it's called To Be or Not to Be, and it's a choose-your-own version of Hamlet, written by Ryan North, who's the author of Adventure Time, and I've gone on about him multiple times, and it's amazing. Basically, I don't know if you're familiar with choose-your-own adventure books, but you get to choose the outcomes of what these characters do. So you play as Hamlet or Ophelia or Claudius for a little bit. there's a pirate ship fight. Like, he adds in all kinds of stuff, and it's written in his like signature Ryan North style, which I love and is great. The only downside is I don't quite know how far I am in the book because it jumps back and forth, but it's definitely been entertaining over the past few days going through it. So, Paul, what about you? What else besides
when
comics?
you were a kid reading Choose Your Own Adventure books,
Go, Sarah, go ahead.
Sorry, I know that kind of took you by surprise because there's a bit of a lag. When you were a kid reading Choose Your Own Adventure books, did you ever like just go through the whole book preemptively and like read all the endings and try to get the one that you wanted that didn't end in you getting like horribly slaughtered or something?
No, because I wasn't a cheater.
Oh, I did. As a kid, I always read the endings of books and all the end. Yeah, I did that.
Well, did any of you ever actually just read straight through? Just read the book, like,
sure, but once you've done one ending, it's like, okay, what else is there? What did I do wrong?
I don't mean like by like going to the I'm talking about literally from page 1 straight through, not jumping through the adventures.
Oh, no. Why would you do that?
It's a really strange experience.
No, we were sane children.
Yeah. So what about you, Paul?
Seriously, I've been just so busy. I haven't had really time to do anything. I've barely had time to keep up with my comics. When you talk about books, though, I am looking forward to a book called what is it? 4 Fathom something. It's the next book by a writer called Max Gladstone. And his work is really awesome. It's this weird blend of corporate. I don't know. It's like, so it's this weird blend of urban fantasy and lawyer stuff. It's really hard to explain. You have to look it up. Max Gladstone. He's got 2 books out already, and his next. And I've been a huge fan of both of those. So it's Full Fathom 5. That's the name of the next book. It's coming out this month. So once I finally get that, then I'll be. That's what I'll be reading. That'll be my thing.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, Sarah, I know you were completely unprepared for this, but do you have anything? Movie, TV show, book, video game, whatever.
I actually find myself in a surprising situation that doesn't happen too often where I actually have more media than I can consume one at a time. Because Ingress just came out for the iPhone this week, and I've really, really been hardcore looking forward to playing that for a long time. I've been like watching over Paul's shoulder whenever we're like walking around or whatever, and he's playing it, and I feel like, Little Mermaid. I want to be part of that world. Yeah. And finally, I'm getting to play it. And let me tell you, I walked a lot tonight. And I think this is going to be very good exercise. I need to acquire a bicycle now. It's going to not be pretty. My wife is already giving me sideways looks and sighing a lot.
Also, a battery backup.
But aside from that, Yeah, I hear it tends to eat power pretty quickly. But aside from that, I mean, before that came out, for the last couple weeks, actually, I think I've read a little over 3,000 words. I've been tearing through the, it's a young adult series. It's pretty famous, the Percy Jackson and the Olympian books. Paul, I know we've talked about it before. Yeah. There's the hella racist movie made off of the first volume, but the books are really good. Like, they're awesome. They talk about, like, the hero not like bulldozing everybody else's agency and like an effort to like be the best and be the the primary good person, and just as long as he has good intentions, screw everybody else. No, this book isn't like that. The kid's actually really sympathetic, kind of like Harry Potter, where he's growing up about a year with every new book that comes out. But I started on the sequel series after finishing that one, and it's really good too, and they're a lot longer. So I'm waiting for this. I've got some favorites. I guess I I'm pretty sure most everybody knows basically what the series is about, but basically the Greek and Roman gods, well, the Greek gods and their alter egos, the Roman gods, they're all real, and they're still running around, thinking mortals are like super hot or whatever, and having a bunch of illegitimate kids who tend to get horribly slaughtered by monsters unless they're trained appropriately, which is basically what the teenage heroes of the books are going through. That most of them have some kind of superpower related to their godly parents, like the protagonist, Percy Jackson, son of Neptune, breathe underwater and talk to sea creatures and a lot of cool stuff like that. The female characters, the girls in the series, are pretty cool. It's a little irritating that the author takes shipping more seriously than the fans do, I think, because every time you see a character, they will have a counterpart character who they are going to end up in an immediate relationship with. Like, I think I just got introduced to a couple characters, Hazel and Frank, and they're friends, and apparently they hang out together a lot. And the first chapter I get from the girl's perspective, it's like, oh, well, it's not like I like him or anything, but my heart starts beating really fast whenever he's around, and I wonder why that is. And I'm like, Reardon, come on. But it's a really cute series, and I've been blowing through that as quickly as I can. It's really good.
So the series should be called Percy Jackson and the Camp for Abandoned Demigod Bastards.
Basically, and they explain it so it's not incest either, which it was pretty impressive in my opinion.
Yeah, because they're all bastards. Nobody's married. Yeah. Nobody's married to these guys, and they're all abandoned because the gods can't hang out for some reason. They just hit it and quit it. Hit it and quit it. That's all they're all doing. Yeah, and everybody thinks that's okay for kids' books. I don't understand that.
They're good. I tore through the first series. It was really good, and also the Egyptian mythology equivalent. I forget what it's called, like something red serpent or something. I don't know. Those are good too. They're basically the same thing, but with Egyptian gods.
The Red Pyramid.
But with this, that one. Those are good. That second series I've kind of stalled on. It took me a while to read the first book, and I'm kind of just been like halfway through the second one and just been reading a chapter like a week because it just hasn't been holding my attention. But the first series is awesome, and I love the characters and I love anything mythological. So I just got to power through that because the next one I think comes out fairly soon. So.
Okay. Well, I'm on. Yeah, the fifth one in that series. I know there's kind of a lot of anticipation for that one because one of the characters was just revealed to be gay in the last book. You've got this 14-year-old kid who's like, oh, shoot, I've been hiding this massive crush and now everybody knows. And he's the only one without a significant other. So what's up with that, Reardon? And I think that's going to be like the big thing fans are waiting for in the coming book. But I'm exactly... Yeah, I mean, he's got to get over that. I mean, he's committed. He wants to represent all kinds of teenagers. He's got to represent all kinds of teenagers and their booze. But I'm exactly where you are with reading it right now. I'm like working my way through the second book, so I'm going to be bugging you about that. We'll have to talk about it again on the Communicast.
All right, so that's what else we've been doing besides comics. And yeah, I think that about does it. Any other things you guys want to talk about? Running a little over.
Nope. Let's talk about going to bed because it's midnight for some of us.
Oh, it's not 9 o'clock where you are?
No.
All right.
Set me up in 4 hours.
You can find links to everywhere to find us and all of our episodes on cbcpodcast.tumblr.com. Follow us on there too. I post a lot of like comic art and a bunch of other related stuff besides the podcast. If you're interested in any of that, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/comicbookcommunicasts and check out our audio version. That's back up on iTunes, or there's RSS links on our show posts and on the Tumblr. So yeah, subscribe, rate us on iTunes, leave us a review, share to the world. We love any more eyeballs and ears on our show. Leave some comments. We had some tonight from Michael, so that was much appreciated, and I was kind of talking back and forth. So yeah, always Always good to hear from everybody.
Button.
Yeah, +1, like.
Yep.
Follow us on Twitter. I think we're the Communicast on there. So yeah, that about does it. Thanks everyone for watching and listening, and have a good night.
Have a good night, everybody.
Night.